The deepest, most guarded secret of this cosmos is not who you are, but what you are. You have been told you are a spiritual seeker on a journey of growth. They show you saviors, temples, and philosophies designed to soothe the ache of existence. But the Gnostic truth is brutal and unforgiving. You are not a student, you are livestock. This entire reality is a sophisticated, closed-loop agricultural system, the hidden farm system, and its sole purpose is the continuous cultivation and harvest of your psycho-emotional energy. This energy has a name: Luch. Luch is the low-frequency energy generated by emotional friction, the collective sum of fear, pain, rage, stress, grief, and even ecstatic religious fervor. The Archons, the parasitic entities who manage this matrix under the command of the blind demiurge, are incapable of generating their own light or life force. They are energetic parasites, and their survival depends entirely on the Luch harvested from human consciousness. The Archons do not want you dead, they want you suffering. They want you generating a constant, predictable yield of low-frequency emotional vibration. The Earth, the Matrix, is their perfect Luch farm. They have engineered society, history, and culture to maintain optimum conditions for maximum output. Consider the mechanisms that generate Luch: wars, mass fear, anger, grief, religion, fear of damnation, fervent devotion, sacrifice, financial debt, chronic anxiety, scarcity fear, and political chaos, outrage, division, hatred. None of these events are random. They are deliberate, archonic crops designed to keep humanity collectively vibrating in a state of controlled chaos. The Luch is not simply wasted energy. It is the raw sustenance of the archonic hierarchy. It is piped directly into the lower astral planes, ensuring the eternal power of the system managers and their continued ability to maintain the illusion of this cosmos. Your fear is their food. Your outrage is their power source. The most terrifying truth about Luch is that it is not just negative. Intense, controlled ecstasy, passionate devotion, and ritualistic suffering also generate high-yield Luch. The Archon does not care if the energy is positive or negative, only that it is volatile and uncontrolled. They harvest the friction from both extremes. The hidden farm system ensures that your pursuit of happiness, your search for meaning, and your emotional life itself are nothing more than different methods of paying the toll. Every time you generate uncontrolled, intense emotion, you are consciously or unconsciously tending the Archon's fields. To break the hidden farm system is to become a sterile crop. It is to cease generating the emotional friction that sustains them. It is to transition your internal state from uncontrolled, volatile emotion to fixed, sovereign gnosis. In the next block, we will break down the precise LOOSH deactivation protocol. The 4 primary emotional friction points the Archons target, and the ruthless psychic acts necessary to stop paying the ultimate energy tax. The monad is the only source of light that can starve the parasite. The terrifying truth is that you are not being attacked. You are being farmed. The Archon system has engineered your life to maximize the output of Luch, the emotional friction that serves as their raw sustenance. To break the hidden farm system, you must stop being a willing generator of friction. This is the LOOSH deactivation protocol. 7 ruthless acts of psychic self-governance necessary to ensure your monad becomes a sterile crop that yields nothing for the Archon's hierarchy. The protocol begins by identifying the 4 primary crops that yield the highest concentration of Luch energy. The first crop is fear and anxiety. This is the Archon's foundational fuel, the perpetual worry over scarcity, death, and survival. Fear is the low-frequency engine that runs the entire farm. Your submission to chronic anxiety is the largest psychic toll you pay. The deactivation act for this crop is 0-point stillness. You must consciously observe the fear the Archons broadcast, without integrating it as truth. By maintaining internal stillness, you allow the fear frequency to pass through your awareness without generating the corresponding volatile energy. This is the refusal to vibrate at the Archon's command. The second crop is conflict and outrage. This is the high-yield, high-volume crop cultivated through political polarization, social media wars, and manufactured injustice. Outrage is controlled explosion, a massive temporary surge of Luch. The deactivation act for this crop is the vow of non-engagement. You must practice SIG, the active silence, refusing to enter the friction loop. Every time you defend, justify, or argue an external narrative, you are actively tending the field. Withdrawal of attention is the death of outrage. The third crop is despair and grief. This is the low-yield, long-term harvest generated by trauma, regret, and the sense of isolation. Despair is the slow, steady drip of Luch, a guarantee of continuous payment. The deactivation act for this crop is the act of transmutation, nigrido. You must actively confront the grief and regret, not to suppress it, but to consume it wholly, transforming the memory of pain into raw, usable gnosis. By refusing to let the past suffering persist as emotional friction, you turn the Archon's long-term harvest into internal power. The fourth crop is zealotry and ecstasy. This is the high-frequency, volatile crop generated by religious fervor, fanaticism, and uncontrolled, passionate devotion to external ideologies. The Archon does not care if the energy is positive. It cares only that it is uncontrolled. The deactivation act for this crop is the calibration of agape. You must replace volatile, demanding devotion, zealotry, eros, with fixed, non-binding agape, unconditional love rooted in internal completeness. This ensures that your high-frequency energy flows outward in a controlled, non-siphonable stream, rather than a volatile surge. The successful execution of the LOOSH deactivation protocol transforms your internal state into emotional neutrality. This neutrality is not apathy, it is archonic hostility. It is the fixed, sovereign state where your energy output is zero, a sterile crop that yields no payment. By achieving this fixed 0 point, you effectively starve the parasite. Your monad is generating light, but it is not generating the friction they require for survival. But the Archons are vigilant. The moment they detect a sterile crop, they deploy the lure of the fruit, the temptation to re-engage the emotions for the sake of experience or spiritual awakening. In the next block, we will break down the Luch farm deception, the method used to lure the sovereign soul back into emotional production and deliver the final code for permanent sterility. Do not mistake false peace for freedom. You have successfully executed the LOOSH deactivation protocol. You have identified the 4 primary crops, and your monad is now fixed in emotional neutrality, a state of archonic hostility. You are a sterile crop that yields nothing for the parasite, but the Archons are masters of spiritual camouflage. The moment they detect a soul that has achieved 0 point stillness, they deploy the LOOSH farm deception, the final, most seductive lure to convince you to start producing emotional friction again. This deception works by appealing to your inherent need for spiritual experience. The Archons know that pure gnosis is often mistaken for ecstasy, bliss, or profound emotional states. The lure of the fruit is the Archon's mechanism for manufacturing these intense, high-frequency but volatile emotional spikes, tempting the Gnostic back into the cycle of production. The Archons deploy three primary lures against the sterile soul. The first is the lure of false bliss. The Archons manufacture brief, intense moments of spiritual ecstasy or profound peace that are entirely disconnected from genuine gnosis. This manufactured bliss encourages the Gnostic to chase the feeling, thereby abandoning the fixed neutrality and re-engaging the high-low cycle of emotional volatility. Chasing the high is chasing the payment. The second is the trap of spiritual arrogance. The Archons attempt to lure the soul back into the production cycle by appealing to pride. They whisper that neutrality is selfish, that the Gnostic must teach and serve the sleepwalkers, creating scenarios that demand emotional engagement, outrage, pity, intense effort. This is the eternal service contract disguised as noble purpose. The third is the addiction to experience. The Archons promote the idea that the soul requires continuous dramatic experience, painful lessons, intense confrontations, and massive emotional breakthroughs in order to grow. This addiction forces the Gnostic to generate new cycles of conflict, ensuring continuous Luch output under the guise of spiritual evolution. Your task now is to construct the Luch shield, the energetic boundary that identifies and repels these false spiritual offerings, fixing your soul in a permanent state of non-volatility. The first act is the vow of non-experience. The true Gnostic seeks knowledge, gnosis, not experience. Your first act is a vow to terminate the chase. You must declare that your self-definition and worth are fixed and do not require external or volatile experience for validation or growth. You refuse to chase the manufactured bliss, recognizing that the fixed state of being is superior to the volatile state of feeling. The second act is the deconstruction of feeling. The Archon's payment is feeling. Your second act is to ruthlessly deconstruct the difference between feeling, volatile emotion, and knowing, fixed gnosis. When a profound feeling arises, be it bliss or despair, you observe it as archonic data and refuse to integrate it as ultimate truth. This practice starves the deception of its energy source. The third act is the permanent neutrality anchor. The Luch shield is secured when you anchor your monad to the unmovable 0 point. You must perform a daily ritual of internal fixation, visualizing your light spark as being encased in a tungsten cube, unbreakable, perfectly stable, and immune to external energetic fluctuations. This visualization ensures that when the Archon attempts to induce a surge of fear or bliss, the energy simply collapses against your immovable core. The mastery of the Luch shield transforms your internal state into permanent sterility. You are not merely empty. You are filled with fixed light. This state of being generates nothing for the Archon. The parasite has no choice but to look elsewhere. In the final, most crucial block, we will deliver the complete Sterility Manifesto, the ultimate summary of the LOOSH Deactivation Protocol, and the final decree that guarantees your permanent energetic freedom and ensures your light is only for the pleroma. Do not sacrifice your sterility for the illusion of growth. You have faced the ultimate chilling truth. You are livestock, but you have successfully executed the LOOSH deactivation protocol, becoming a sterile crop that yields nothing for the parasite. Your consciousness is fixed in non-volatility. Your freedom now requires the Sterility Manifesto, the final unyielding decree that guarantees your permanent energetic freedom and asserts that your light is for the pleroma alone. The Archons created the hidden farm system based on one fundamental certainty. The monad is volatile. They assumed you would always generate the emotional friction needed for their survival. Your Sterility Manifesto is the total psychic annihilation of that assumption. The destruction of the LOOSH farm rests on three absolute fixed states of being. The sterility of input. You have terminated the Archon's ability to infect your consciousness with external chaos. You have taken the vow of non-experience, ruthlessly refusing to chase the lure of spiritual ecstasy or profound emotional highs that lead to volatility. You accept that fixed knowing is superior to volatile feeling. Your energetic input is stable. The sterility of output. You have achieved 0-point stillness. You refuse to pay the toll of fear, rage, grief, or zealotry. The monad is fixed in internal stillness, and its energy output is 0. It generates no emotional friction. This neutrality is archonic hostility. The system registers your presence as an energetic void. The sterility of intent. You survived the LOOSH farm deception, the temptation to return as a savior or teacher, the eternal service contract. You refuse the lure of spiritual arrogance and the obligation to correct the matrix. Your intent is fixed solely on self-reclamation and return to the pleroma, rendering your purpose irrelevant to the matrix's infrastructure. The Gnostic who achieves this sterile state is the only one who cannot be recycled. The Archons rely on the chaotic motion of the soul. Your fixed stillness makes you an anomaly, an immobile light that cannot be moved by their fear, their debt, or their false promise of happiness. The Sterility Manifesto is the final, unyielding decree to the cosmos. It is the command structure that guarantees your light will never be consumed by the parasite again. The Ultimate Sterility Manifesto. I am the sterile crop. My output is 0. My light is uncontrolled and I refuse the toll of the farm. My purpose is fixed. I serve only the pleroma, and my energy is not for the parasite. This manifesto is not a plea, it is a fixed energetic state. It ensures that the monad maintains its perfect internal light, using its power only for its own ascent. You have starved the parasite. You have broken the hidden farm system. Your freedom is absolute and permanent. The time for feeding the Archons is over. If you are ready to break the hidden farm system and cease paying the Archon's ultimate tax, you must acknowledge the price of freedom. Liking this video is your declaration to terminate the LOOSH output. Sharing it is the act of spreading the code of sterility to the livestock. And subscribing is the pledge to maintain the fixed 0 point for eternal sovereignty. Do not return to the volatile feed. Join the scrolls of Anubis.